This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
I'm Skyrionn.
And I'm Wisefish.
And this is not the CHRILLCAST I have up here. This is actually my second channel that we were just talking about in the background here. But I do an unboxing channel. You can find it, youtube.com/ambient-unboxing. But I'm actually here for the CHRILLCAST. And Skyrionn, tell everybody about your channel.
So I'm Skyrionn, and I make timeline and lore videos. I'm most known for Fable, and I also do Half-Life, which not many people know I do. But yeah, Half-Life as well. And I stream on Twitch as well. It's a fun time.
Yeah, and then we got Mr. Wisefish over here.
Yeah, so I started off doing reviews, but I've sort of ventured more into doing lore videos for the Metro series, Apex and Titanfall, BioShock, Fallout, and some other games that I'm coming to in the near future, as well as streaming weekly on Twitch as well.
Yeah, so go check those channels out. We also had Installation 00 on for Monday, so go check that out. It was a really interesting video to film because we had people dropping off, like that show Unfriended. So there's that. And today we're going to be talking for Wild Card Wednesday, as Will says it. The history, the future, not the history. We've done enough history in this channel, but the future of Xbox 2021 and beyond. So what games we have coming out was something we're going to be talking about, but also I'm just going to give you guys a quick little brief background of this video. So Xbox Series X/S launched against the PlayStation 5 on November 10th, 2020, amid everything else going on in 2020. So
Yeah.
definitely going to be talking about that.
Year.
And then it launched kind of minimally with really no true launch titles, and that's my opinion, but also kind of a fact because there wasn't really anything new on the day it came out. It has managed,
really.
right? It has managed to sell out every time stock is available, even without the exclusives, based on Game Pass backwards compatibility and a high-powered, high-resolution gaming akin to PC. So with this previous generation of Xbox, the Xbox One line of consoles, considered to be a failure by many industry experts, how do we feel about Microsoft's chances against Nintendo and Sony in this current gen in 2021 and beyond?
I feel like with the launch, great. The console is great. So for myself, because I make Fable content, Fable 2 runs so smoothly on the Xbox One Series X, which is what I've got. Whichever one I've got, the newest one, the X series with a disk drive, and it runs so smoothly. But I haven't played any new games on it. Cyberpunk was a failure, so I'm waiting for the patches to come out. But I don't really get excited about playing my Xbox for new games. I'm just going back to play old ones. So I don't know. I feel like Microsoft aren't doing too well in that aspect, whereas Nintendo have Animal Crossing, for example, where they're still constantly updating it, which I've just got, by the way, because it's really, really good. Sony, I don't know a lot about them. I know they're Last of Us 2, but I just feel like Microsoft aren't doing too great in terms of posting new games. It's a shame.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the first time I've never had a need to buy an Xbox. There is nothing that stands out to me for why I need an Xbox. I play on PC all the time, and every exclusive is coming to PC. So I have absolutely no need whatsoever to go out and buy an Xbox Series X. I have a Series S so I can have it in the living room, just so I can play like Rocket League when I'm on downtime or something like that. But honestly, I barely use it. So really, I'm just sticking to PC, whereas, Sony appeals to me because I've got the new God of War coming out, Miles Morales I really want to play. Just annoyingly, you can't get stock for either of them. So, yeah, Xbox for me is just, I have no need of it this generation.
But at the same time, all the hardware is selling out like crazy. So like Xbox, on the backbone of their huge catalog, is selling this console based on graphical upgrades for all these games and improved performance, basically.
Oh, I will say, I mean, it's for anyone that's solely console or can't afford a big PC build, because obviously that is a limitation of playing on PC. You need the budget to build and stuff like that. So as a console to play next gen games, it's a fantastic deal. And then you get the Game Pass and stuff like that, and you can play games on the go, old games really smoothly. It's fantastic. So it's no surprise it's sold out. But I just mean for the larger gaming community, ones that were playing PC and were tempted by the next gen, the new Xbox really isn't that appealing to anyone who's a regular gamer, I feel.
No, and you kind of hit it pretty well on the head, Wisefish. The fact that games have come to PC as well. Fable, for example, that's come to PC. I think Microsoft would have been smart with the fact in keeping that on the Xbox, at least at first, to get people to buy the console. Because all we're doing at the moment is we're playing old games, and there's no incentive. Like, there's a bunch of people in the office that I work at, and there's no incentive to buy the Xbox yet.
Yeah, I think that's it.
There's nothing to play on it except older games which they can play on their older consoles. Would you pay £500 to play a game with graphics that are a little bit better and run smoother? I don't think it's worth it. And when these new games do drop, will the prices of the Xbox have dropped by then in however long? There's just no incentive to buy it. I bought it because I'm impulsive, and and that's the only reason I bought it. But I've not really noticed a difference in my gameplay, except that Fable 2 runs smoother. But I've not really noticed a difference.
So I will be honest though, like the Xbox Series X, for somebody that maybe dipped out of Xbox One generation, being able to immediately play all of the Xbox One games without having to rebuy the Xbox One and all of its glory might be appealing to Xbox fans. And then people who don't want a PC, this is perfect for you to get, is this console that'll play 4 generations of at least the most popular games on each of the platforms previous. You got the Master Chief Collection, but at the same time, unless you want to play Xbox and Xbox 360 games on your new console, most every game that's modern is also on PC. So yeah, there's two sides of the same coin there. So if you're really big into the back catalog of the Xbox genre, the Xbox platform, I should say, then this is a great buy. If you're really not into that, you're more into modern games, the PC is the better way to go because you got more versatility and more utility when it comes to a PC.
Yeah, I think that's the thing really is at the moment, the new Xbox appeals to people who play solely on Xbox or people who just want a new console and they want sort of a wider variety of games that are cheaper because obviously you got the backwards compatibility so you can play all of them, and you've got all the new ones that come out that you can get on the subscription service, which if you're okay with paying monthly, then that's a good thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just think if you're looking to get people into the next generation, it's going to be a lot harder for Xbox than it is with Sony or Nintendo. Well, Nintendo are in their own thing anyway, but I feel like Sony's got an easier way of bringing new people in than Xbox, if that makes sense.
100%. So I think the appeal right now for the Xbox Series X is it is a next-gen console and there's no stock for it. Can you think of a better situation for Microsoft right now than the current issues with the world to sell out a console that literally has no exclusives on it?
I mean, I don't know.
It's FOMO right now. It's all fear of missing out. Like what reason is there for somebody to go out and buy an Xbox Series X like at the quantity it's being sold currently? I mean, it's hype. There's a hype machine because there's never any stock. When there's no stock available, like the Switch had the same issue when it launched. There was no stock for the Switch when it first launched.
By them though. They keep doing. Nintendo are gods at doing the sort of limited release. It drives me mad because they know that it gets people going, I have to buy it now because if I don't, it will be gone. I don't think it's intentional by Xbox or Sony at this point because of what's going on in the world, but it's certainly a great way to get people to go, if I don't buy it now, I'm going to miss it. So I'm going to have, I'm going to buy the Xbox now. And suddenly you got all these impulse buyers that have got the Xbox going, like you, Skyrionn, who are just like,
with the promise of Halo and Fable coming to this console, right? Like, what a better situation do you have than always being out of stock? If it was in stock all the time, nobody would buy it, right?
Sure,
there's no reason, there's no exclusive right now coming out tomorrow or even on launch that you could say, all right, this is why I'm buying an Xbox Series X.
And that's the shame. Like, I bought it, like, I remember it was, I knew that it'd sell out, and it was the fear of missing out, and I wanted it because I probably knew I wouldn't be able to get it in a couple of weeks. But it's also for me knowing that if, for example, Fable dropped randomly one day, I could just play it. I could just get it instantly instead of waiting for a console. So that was part of my game plan as well. There was a little method behind it. But no, they've done pretty well with the fear of missing out thing with the limited stock. But as I have a PC as well, I can play games on there, and I do prefer to play games with a controller, which the controller for the Xbox is. I do really like it. But you can just connect that to the PC, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I still
I
use
think the
this
other-
guy.
Is that the 360?
Oh,
It
really?
is. The wired Xbox 360
Nice.
controller.
It was a fantastic controller.
The one without the battery pack, the wired Xbox 360 controller, in my opinion, was almost perfect.
Yeah, I used to love that one. I will say that the other thing that I have a problem with is if people bought this, I can't even remember now. There's so many X's in the name of the Xbox, but the Xbox One X.
On accident.
But I mean, just like if you have an Xbox One X, there really isn't much going for upgrading that, because honestly, all the games that are coming out that are exclusive, their generation, you can play them on past generations as well. I'm pretty sure. So Halo
100%.
Infinite's going to be out on Xbox One and the new Series X. So it's just like, if you have an Xbox One X, would you really upgrade? It still plays in 4K 60 frames per second. It's still got
Right.
the updates that they've rolled out. It's still got the same controller. You're not really missing out much. You probably have a Pro if you have the One X as well. Well, maybe. I don't see any point in upgrading.
No.
All right, so the next thing I've got here is what are our predictions for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, Xbox in general? How is it going to perform this generation in our best guess? And will it be able to compete with Sony and Nintendo? Or are we looking at a generation where Xbox's main brand is Game Pass over a hard console?
I think that when Xbox finally release some games for their new console, exclusively for that new console, they're going to get a boom.
Yeah.
Because that'll increase the fear of missing out because you can't play it unless you have a console. But I feel like by that point, Sony will release games as well. And I hate to say it, but I feel like Sony may win this round just because they played this one pretty well.
Yeah, I think the thing is that, I mean, the way I see it, the best way for Xbox to sell is they get more stock, hold it back until Halo Infinite or whatever they deem as their biggest selling game comes out, which is probably Halo Infinite, and release all the consoles as if it's the launch, as if like Halo Infinite was the launch game for this console, and have on it, you know, free Halo Infinite multiplayer, 3 months Game Pass, and Xbox Live service. I think coming up to Christmas of 2021, that's the best way Xbox can sell like mad. Problem is, though, Sony's going to have God of War and all of the other exclusives that they've announced. So really, it's just going to be the launch all over again coming this Christmas. So we'll have to see then. But for now, it's so hard to tell. I just think they need Halo Infinite to really be the selling point.
100%. So, what about you, Skyrionn? What sales wise this year? 5 million, 10 million?
Oh,
20, we're gonna pull out. We're gonna see the Switch 20 million. I mean, with Halo coming out, it's such a gamble to make a prediction. My guess is they push with Halo Infinite coming out, they'll probably push 10 million that month.
Do you think?
I'd say, yeah, maybe 10 million. I'm not sure what sales will look like in terms of how previous generations have gone, but maybe 10 million if Halo does well, Fable, and any other games that whenever they release, if they come out this year. And I don't know a lot about Halo Infinite because I've only just got into the Halo universe, but I know it's pretty well hyped.
Yeah.
So just for the record, just historically speaking, when the Nintendo Switch started to lose some sales, Nintendo sped up the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to release before the end of the fiscal year. They dropped it in December, and they sold 10 million Switches in December to finish out the year stronger than the first year the Switch released.
Problem is, Nintendo people are so loyal, and it's a console unlike any other. Like,
This is true.
it's the only handheld console that can be played on a TV. I think Xbox really need to market it as you can play on your phone. It's got Game Pass with it if you buy it. you get free Xbox Live up to 6 months or 3 months or something like that. You get these games with it. They really need to go like full out. If they've got enough money to spend on Bethesda, like the 7.5 billion, they've got enough to market it so it's the biggest and best console for this Christmas.
Well, when you're already selling everything out the second they drop, do you need to market yet? I think they're waiting until Halo Infinite's going to drop to do their serious marketing, because then at that point in time, hopefully their stock is caught up with.
Well, that's
sales.
what I mean. Like with more stock and with the games coming out later part of this year, I think they need to go like full out. I know that we're saying that they sell out as soon as they come in stock, but with the pandemic sort of hopefully dying down and everything, and more games are coming out and more consoles are being made, I think they need to go just full on and market it to everyone so it is the biggest console they've ever had. I can't see it getting a Nintendo level of hype, but you never know.
I don't know. There's a ton of Halo fans. I guess it just depends on how many of them converted to PC.
And also how many have Series Xbox One X. I mean, again, still don't see the point in upgrading when they can play it in 4K 60 frames per second anyway. We'll have to see if they're that loyal.
We know a new generation of Halo will convert older generation Halo fans to a new console.
Oh, I'm sure.
Especially if they have a Halo-themed Xbox come out. My goodness, can you imagine? What if they made the Xbox symbol a Master Chief helmet on the button, the startup button?
That's the stuff that will get people like really invested in like Xbox.
Military green with a Master Chief helmet for the power button. People would buy that in droves.
I remember when Halo 3 dropped and you got the collector's helmet. I was just all over that in the limited edition console. That's all I ever wanted.
One step further here. Xbox 360 Halo 3 edition. This is, in my opinion, the best model Xbox 360 they ever released.
Yeah.
By far.
I really wanted that when it dropped.
I had one. I had to fix it every 6 months or it would stop working, but I had one with all the accessories.
But it's things like this that I feel will bring people into it and really want to have a console. At the moment, the Series X, I don't like the design of it anyway.
No, it's
just
big, funky.
Yeah, that's what I mean. For me, the PlayStation 5 looks better, and I know that it's still huge. But if they can come out with like a Halo version and make quite a few of them or something like that, I think that would be really a good selling point for making me want to get a Series X. It'd be pointless, but
they need to make a bunch of them, but say it's limited supply.
Yeah, like
that's what they got to do.
That'll win me over.
Pull a Nintendo. Anyways, let's see here. So my prediction is, I think this year, sales-wise, they'll do at least 10 million. I don't know how much more than 10 million they'll do, but I think they'll do 10 million.
I'm gonna be pessimistic and say like 7.
I'm gonna go for 8.
7 million. I thought you meant 7
Yeah,
total.
just 7 consoles. We're very limited here in the UK, so.
Xbox Series X sales. I'm gonna just find out what the 2020 sales were just for fun. See if they've got it. Let's see here. News. Let's see here. Who dominated global sales? Let's see here. So what do they say?
30 million by 2023. It said up there.
So the market share Xbox Series X sales were almost 35%. PlayStation 5 captured 65. Holy cow! Really? That's insane. I did not know that.
They're so popular.
Xbox dominated the United States by a small margin, 1%. It looks like, but less than 1%. And then they beat out. They really killed it in Mexico, though. 63% of Mexico's market versus the PlayStation, which only pulled up about 37%. So it looks like in 2020, PS5 sold almost 4.5 million, and the Xbox Series X sold 2.4 million. So we're in Q1 of 2021. So I'd be curious to see how many sales come out. Now, I do know that there was a limited supply of Xbox Series X's, and they sold through all of them. And the reason they were more limited was because they used the better version of AMD's, was it Ryzen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had the better version, so they had to wait longer for production. So because they waited longer, and because they waited for the better version, they had less opportunity to produce them. So there's that. But yeah, so I predict probably 10 million this year. So, is there anything else you want to say about this one?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just that they need to up the production, but obviously with what's going on at the moment, it's so unpredictable about where it's going to stand in the future.
100%.
Hopefully.
Well, good luck to Xbox. As always, I'm Chris.
I'm Skyrionn.
And I'm Wisefish.
And we will see you on the next Grillcast. Bye, guys.